Hi guys, how you guys doing? You're welcome to my channel. On today's video we'll be cutting IRO at BUBA. So when you want to cut IRO at BUBA, is either you use Ankara fabric or you make use of lace, and the length of Ankara fabric is by 45. When you want to cut IRO at BUBA, when you use Ankara fabric, you can use 6 yards or not even up to 6 yards depending on your size. But today's video, we're making use of this lace fabric, and lace length is by 50. So now, before we go into this, we'll be cutting the IRO first, because when you want to cut IRO at BUBA, it's advisable you cut your IRO first, then the remaining one you now start with the BUBA and the head gear. So now the measurement for a slim person for IRO is 2 yards and 16 inches, but by the time we add folding allowance to it, we add like 4 inches for folding allowance, everything will just be 2 yards and 20 inches. We added 4 inches to this IRO because IRO, the edge here is always fold by 1.5 inches. After folding it, it will be like this, 1.5 or 1 inches. That's why we added 4 inches to the measurement. And when you want to cut for plus size, you cut it 2 yards and 30 inches. By the time you add folding allowance to the IRO, like 4 inches, or depending on how your material is, to give you 2 yards and 34 inches. So now I will cut out my wrapper, and we will now cut out the BUBA. So guys, I've cut out my IRO. The length of my IRO is 2 yards and 20 inches. So now we'll keep this aside. We'll be working on this later, and we'll talk more on the BUBA. So now let's work on the BUBA. To fold your BUBA, you fold it by the length. You first fold it, yes, you fold by the length, then you fold again into 4 like this. Now it's into 4. If you can see, 1 2 3 4, it's into 4. I fold by the length, then I fold by the width of the hip I'm working with. I'll be using the hip for this measurement. And when you want to measure your BUBA, you measure the length of the BUBA. After measuring the length, you measure from this backbone here, this middle of the backbone, to where the client wants the sleeve to be. Is either the wrist or this elbow, or here, anywhere your client wants it. I'll be using the hip to fold this out. Then we'll now cut the sleeve. The hip by 4. The hip I'm working with is 40. 40 divided by 4 gives me 11 inches. So now I've marked, this is my 11 inches here. 11 inches, 11 inches. This 11 inches is plus sewing allowance. So now the next thing we have to do is to mark the neck width. The neck width we'll be working with is 3.5. 3.5 for the width and 3.5 for the depth. But when you want your neck to be wider, you don't have to use 3.5. You use 4 by 4 depending on the size. If it's plus size, you can use 4.5 depending on how wide you want the neck to be. So now I'll mark my neck like this. So now I'll cut this out, then we'll cut the sleeve. Alright guys, I'm done with the cutting of the BUBA. You can see how it is, and the neckline. So this is out. Then now we'll launch this place before we cut out our sleeve. We know this is where the sleeve joining will be. We'll launch it like this. And if it's Ankara you are cutting, you have to cut butt use and turn the neck. But this, I'll be making use of bias strip for the neck area, and I will show you guys how to sew it and hem it. Turn it to the back and hem it. But now let's work on the sleeve. We'll cut out the sleeve. After, when you measure from the backbone here, the middle of your back, to the sleeve here, what I have is 28. After cutting this, now the remaining length of sleeve I need is 19 inches. Now fold this out and cut. So now I fold my sleeve. We'll be cutting the two sleeves at the same time. I fold it by the length, and I fold it again. You can see it's like this. Then I fold again to this side, and the width of the sleeve is by 9.5. We have 9.5 here, 9.5 here also. Now the length of the sleeve is by 19 inches. This is my 19 inches here. I'll mark and come here and mark 19 inches also. So now I'll connect these lines together. So now I'll cut this out. Then we'll start sewing the wrapper, the IRO. Alright guys, I'm done with the cutting of the sleeve and the BUBA. Now we'll put these ones aside first and go to the machine to fold our wrapper on 1.5 inches. I'll go to the sewing machine and fold like this. I'll fold the two edges of the wrapper and come and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, this is the bayards I'll be using to turn the neck area. So I'll just sew I'll sew it like this. We'll open the BUBA. Now I'll be sewing on the front like this on this bayard strip around the neck, and I'll come and show you what it looks like before hemming it. Alright guys, I'm done with the turning of the wrapper and the scarf. I cut my scarf by 1.5 yard, and I fold the edges on half inches. So now I'll keep the scarf aside. Now this is my wrapper. I fold my wrapper also on 1.5 inches. Alright guys, I'm done with the turning of the neck of the BUBA with bayards. So now I will use needle and thread and aim it all around, because you can't sew this down. You aim it with your needle and thread. So now this is what I'll be doing. Alright guys, I'm done with the aiming of the neck. You can see how it is. So guys, now we have to join the sides together. Before we start joining the sides, I'll come down from the shoulder here by 8.5. This is for the armhole. This is my 8.5 mark here, and I will mark this down. This is 8.5. Come in by 0.75 for the side seam. 0.75. Then on this hem line here, I'll come up by 2.5 inches, like the slit on the sides, and mark 0.75. So I'll go and sew this and sew for the other sides before I will now tell you how to join the sleeves. Alright guys, I'm done with the joining of the sides, and I've joined the sleeves also. So now I've turned the sleeve to the front. So we'll be fixing this. You make sure you launch your sleeve on this place, and you launch the BUBA also on the head of the sleeve. Now we'll fix in our sleeve this way. You can see the way I'm fixing it in, and we'll make sure this joining is together with this joining like this, and the launch will be together with the launch on this side also. So now I'll go to the sewing machine and sew this all round. Alright guys, I'm done with the joining of the sleeve. You can see how it is. So now we'll just fold this slit we have here on 0.5 inches in like this. I'll fold this and fold for the other side also. Alright guys, we are done with the IRO BUBA. You can see how it is. This IRO BUBA is very easy to make. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you. See you on my next video.